This is a deep news session that Yeme Jeaneé is going to be doing. She's a viewer. She's totally blind to the target. And the target is Hunter Biden when he was most active in communicating with business associates in a manner that has subsequently been claimed by others to be influence peddling during the years from January 2009 through January 2017. That's when his father, Joe Biden, was vice president under President Barack Obama. Now, Yeme Jeaneé does not know any of this. She did the session totally blind, and she went into the heads of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden to see what was going on, how much they knew. So let's see now. Now, when you watch it, remember, she's doing this and she's talking totally blind, but you know what she's talking about. And then at the very end of the video, I will tell her what the actual target is, and you can see her response. All right, let's go. Okay, everybody, so we are doing deep news now with Yeme Jeaneé. And Yeme, are you ready? Now, you have no knowledge of what this target is, right? You did it totally blind. And this is your first time to hear what the issue was. So we're going to go through the session first, and then you'll tell me, you'll discuss what we found, and then I'll tell you what the target is. Okay? Okay. All right, in the so-called target reveal. So I'm looking at your page 5. It's a sketch you have, and it seems that it's just in a normal earthly environment with structures and foliage and stuff like that. And then you move to the center of the target, and you get sort of a man with some headgear. You want to tell a little bit about that? This is sort of the environment that the place is that the person's in.
Yeah, I have a uniformed like man, has kind of headgear on, rugged looking, colors of like gray hues in his clothes, natural earth tones or natural earth tone colors. Man has a large nose, facial hair, seems kind of sketchy or energetically maybe full of himself.
You have a deduction of a military guy, like a general, so looks like this is a some type of guard or military type of something.
Yeah, he felt very uniformed, like mentally and on the outside.
And then, so that was that guy. And then you move to the target subject, and you call that subject A. I'm looking at your page 7. So, and you say something about he's critical, judgy, thinks he's better. Why don't you start talking about that guy? This is a different guy.
Yeah, this guy's energy was kind of snobby. He walks ahead of people, very sure of himself. He doesn't seem to own up to his mistakes. And like that's the type of vibe I get from him. Seems like he's just very arrogant and cocky, and but he does work very hard. So maybe he feels entitled. You know, this is kind of like the energy I'm getting from this guy. And he is a talker. He likes to talk.
So he's a talker type guy.
Likes to hear himself.
Now you then started to focus on something called Concern 1. And you don't know what Concern 1 is, but I do. But what did you get about his feelings about Concern 1?
So he seems to feel... I'm getting the energy of like pish-posh type of energy, very dismissive. He doesn't think highly of it at all. His mind says fools type of, that's, I don't know why I made that voice, but his mind is like fools. He feels this like foolishness and wish it didn't concern him. His thoughts on the concern, genuinely, he just doesn't care for it. But it could benefit him in some way. So there's a larger group that's involved with this concern, and he doesn't care for them. So that might be why he doesn't care for the concern.
I see. Okay, so target subject A, I'm going to your page 10. This is with regard to concern 2. And you don't know what concern 2 is, but what is his feeling about concern 2?
He wants something. However, he's very skilled, like a businessman, I'm getting. At least he appears to be. That's what his appearance is like. He seems to be like, that's what he gives to them as well. Like he offers to them, I guess. So gives, or he offers like a businessman, like what a businessman can give a business, if that makes any sense. Even though he appears to be very quiet, he's. Am I allowed to say this?
Yeah, say it.
He's kind of a dick, you know. He's not. I don't care for him, but he has amazing leadership qualities. And he is effective in making things happen no matter what. Like, he gets things done. So, but his attitude is something special.
So you said later he gives you the vibes of like a
private investigator.
Yeah. So say a little bit more about that.
I don't know exactly where that came from, but he seems to shake things up, and he can get anyone to do whatever he wants to do, usually, like more out of not. And like when I think about private investigators, I think about like, I don't know, like Jessica Jones, or like people who were just bold and like just, you know, go and knock on a door, walk in and be like, this is what I need you to give this to me. I'm figuring this out. Like he just gives me that type of, like, he can figure stuff out, search for things, and he's going to get what you need and what he needs out of this.
Yeah. So, okay, and then you say that he's trying, on page 13, he's trying to influence or manipulate some other subject that you identify as subject B.
Yeah, he appears to be influencing or manipulating this subject in order to gain money, but also to gain status. Whatever is happening here, this subject A wants something, or B, my bad, this subject wants something, and he will do almost anything to get it. I have a deduction of swindler. He's swindler. He's gonna swindle his way into getting what he needs, and it feels like status and money.
Okay, so let's go over to your page 15, where you actually go into the mind of subject B. And what did you pick up there?
Subject A's influence is very strong on subject B. My B subject is picking up on a feeling of unease or distrust within this subject.
I see. So subject B is distrustful of subject A.
Yeah, he does not. He seems to kind of. He's not distrustful yet, but he's picking up on that energy. Like, I don't know. Let me look. Like, now he's being more observant, type of thing.
And then going over to your page 16, you sort of continued with that.
Yeah, he's very intelligent. He's a good businessman. He has a fear of trusting the wrong people, which sometimes leads to him not moving to get things done, which I also have that, so I get it. However, it seems like he recognizes this about himself, and he's trying not to stand in his own way, trying not to get in his way of being distrustful. So he's like, maybe there's a benefit for them both, but he is kind of favoring this subject.
So he sort of favors subject A, but he's got his doubts.
Right.
Okay, and the next page, that's the last page of your session on page 18. So subject B seems aware?
Subject B seems aware of the content of the communications with others regarding concern 1 being done by subject A. But he also has this obliviousness. No, he is not aware. He's not as aware as he thinks he is. That's what it is like.
I see. So he sounds like he knows something's going on, but he doesn't know all the details or anything. Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, that's your session. Are you ready for the target reveal to find out what this is all about?
Sure.
Okay. Well, this had a focus, and the focus was, and subject A is Hunter Biden. That's the son of Joe Biden, the current president. But it's when he was most active in communicating with business associates in a manner that has been subsequently claimed to by others to have been influence peddling during the years from January 2009 through January 2017, and that's when Joe Biden was vice president under Barack Obama. And so the news stories I don't know if you've been following the news stories, but it's been accused that Hunter Biden was collecting millions of dollars from various countries, dictators mostly, and basically selling influence peddling. But your session seems to match what we get with others. He didn't sell it, actually, meaning Joe Biden didn't actually... and Joe Biden was subject B when he was vice president. So apparently,
did Joe Biden know that his son was doing some crazy stuff?
Yeah, but he didn't know completely what the details were. So it seems as if from your session that Hunter Biden was telling these people that he had influence and that they should give him millions of dollars, but Joe Biden wasn't apparently doing anything in response. So he wasn't selling, he wasn't doing things to if this was organized crime, Hunter Biden would have been, the mafia would have put him in the deep blue sea for selling something and
swindling.
Not for swindling. See, so apparently, according to your session, he swindled. He was swindling these people out of millions of dollars.
Hunter was swindling.
Pardon me?
Hunter was swindling?
Yeah, Hunter. Joe Biden was sort of, the thing that I'm getting from your session is that Joe Biden wasn't really understanding and in control of his own son. And his own son was sort of telling people, hey, I got it in with the vice president. You want good stuff? Give me the millions. And Joe Biden sort of had a suspicion that something weird was going on, but it looks like he didn't put a stop to it, and he didn't fully understand what Hunter was doing either. So it looks like there was no influence peddling, but from your session. But
he felt like something was going on behind his back, but he didn't know. So he's kind of like, it's like he's peering. You know how you peer through the little blinds or whatever. So he's kind of peering, like, is something going on? Maybe nothing's going on. Let me stop being distrustful because I have this problem, right? I resonate with that because that's how I am. I'm like second guessing myself, but we have that intuition that we should listen to. I'll second guess myself and I'm like, should I trust this situation here? And it's like, I'm going to stop getting in my own way. And then it's like, nope, I knew you were full of it from the beginning. So I think he knew it, but he's like, no, not my son. My son wouldn't do nothing crazy. Maybe I'm tripping. That's kind of the energy I'm getting now that I understand the context.
Yeah, that's good you explained it. I guess what really concerns me most with this session and some of the other sessions is that Joe Biden, he was vice president at the time, but he didn't know how to control his own son, meaning his son was able to do things under his nose. And my concern is, well, now that he's president, if he couldn't control his own son, can he control the other people around him? So if you don't even understand what your son's doing, do you understand? Because politics is all about influence and putting pressure and getting things. So if he didn't understand what his own son was doing, is he now understanding what the people around him, who are all trying to get something out of him, what they're doing? So I sort of wonder on a level of competency.
But
is
you
that
know,
what's that?
my bad, I'm listening.
No, go ahead.
You know, sometimes when things are closer to us, we don't see it, but we will see the things that are further out. You know, so that's the thing. Like, well, I can't use my kid for an example because I can see straight through him, but but like usually it's like no, my brother loves me, right? My brother wouldn't betray me. I can't foresee that, but you, Bob, might betray me. Yeah. I don't, but not my brother. Yeah. You know, and so sometimes that's a thing. Like, not my own child would not destroy what I'm trying to do for our family. I don't feel like Joe Biden, with what I do know about him. Again, I could be completely wrong, but with what I do know and what I'm like resonating with being inside of his mind, wow.
That's exactly what you were inside his mind.
With being, and so when I'm inside it, when I'm doing a deep mind probe or telepathically getting information from subjects of any type, I resonate with their true being, the being we don't see. And I don't feel like he would ever believe his child would betray him like that. And so the energy that he had with it was an inner battle for him.
That's interesting. Well, that was great. And that's a current news story. They are currently, the House of Representatives is actually going through talks of impeachment of Joe Biden because of the time period when he was vice president, because of this type of stuff. So it's currently in the news, and so we got something that's why it's called deep news. We went right into their heads.
I got my personal thoughts about that, but I'm going to keep those to myself.
You have personal what?
Thoughts about what you just said.
Oh, what's so? You go ahead. Tell the personal thoughts.
Am I allowed to? My mind is a bit extrinsic.
No, go ahead. Just say, because you went into their heads, so that you.
Well, it's not about him. It's about this impeachment, right?
I see, about the impeachment thing. Well,
and the thoughts behind that.
Yeah. Well, whether it looks, your session here seems to indicate that Joe Biden didn't do anything illegal,
right?
Except that he had difficulty controlling his own son.
No, his son just needs a butt whipping. He's a bad boy.
All right. Anyway, okay, but this is great. We learned a little bit about Hunter Biden, a little bit about Joe Biden, and
that's
and
so
I hope
sad.
the audience is enjoying.
That's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about it. Like, I'm trying to think, like, if my kid knew I'm trying to do something decent or half decent or whatever for the world, why would you go underneath me?
Yeah, that's apparently what was going on. He was doing something behind his back.
I really hope the government can see this.
Well, it's all coming out now, so it's now the judges are involved, the lawyers are involved, and so it's all coming out now. All right, so until next time.